Did you know that I, Danielle Ryan, used to be a scammer? Okay, not entirely anyway. Mostly just cringe more than anything, but I thought today you and I could react to some of my old mindset life coaching content from Instagram. And while I was doing some digging, I also found some cringy Facebook Lives that I thought we could react to as well. This is going to be painful for me, so if you enjoy this content, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I want to give a big shout out to my channel VIP members. I appreciate you all so much for being here, and if you're interested in joining my membership and learning how to become a millionaire, not actually, you can click the join button down below. Now, buckle up because it's about to get cringe, and let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so first up, we have an Instagram post from the week after I quit my 9-to-5 job. So for those of you that don't know my story, I used to work in municipal government and I was an administrator at that time. Basically, I was getting passed up for all these promotions. The way the union was structured left it so that I was never really going to be anything other than an administrator. And so rather than go and get another job, I decided to follow the girl boss babes of the internet and quit my job and start a business. And that's kind of how I fell into coaching. It's a really long story, but basically I ended up opening a yoga studio, being a yoga teacher, but simultaneously I was also trying to become like a life coach, mindset coach kind of thing. So that all started actually a year before I quit my job. I also had a podcast that I hosted for about 5 years where I was basically just giving life advice to other millennials as I was trying to, navigate the world of adulthood. So all that to say, I was always sharing like motivational, toxic positivity, self-help BS all over the internet. And anyways, I created this post right after I quit my job, I guess, based on what it says. So let's go ahead and read it. Real talk. Last week, I handed in my resignation from my job. But why, Danielle? You had a great job, well paid, consistent income, benefits, pension, etc. Why would you give that up? How are you going to pay your bills? That's like a dramatization, I guess, of things that I assumed people were going to say about me. Honestly, I don't really remember anyone specifically asking that. Like my dad was probably like,
Danielle, what are you doing?
But he knows I'm smart. He knows I figure it out. First of all, don't worry about me. Y'all know your girl always has a plan. I don't talk like this. This is like my biggest pain with any of these posts. By the way, if you weren't here when I hit 10K on YouTube, I did an entire live stream. I'll link it right here, wherever it is, where I react to a ton of like 1-minute motivational videos that I created. Yeah, go ahead and watch that if you want to cringe with me. Secondly, let me explain something to you. Yes, I was comfortable. In fact, a little too comfortable. What a privilege it must be to have a full-time government job with a pension and benefits and feel as though you are too comfortable in your role. Let me just say that. I was working my 9-to-5, taking my paid vacation, enjoying my leisure time, but living someone else's dream. Okay, to be honest, I don't know whose dream it would be to have that job. Obviously, I get it. Steady income, pension, that kind of thing, great. But that job sucked. This was not the life I had naively envisioned for myself growing up. Deep down, I knew that I was born for more than just working for 40 years to pay my bills and maybe enjoy myself for the last 15 to 20 years of my life. I will say, I know I keep stopping. This narrative, specifically like this sentence, is one that is heavily pushed by people in the coaching industry. And I can pretty much guarantee that I felt this way because I was only surrounding myself at that time, at least like virtually, with people who believed this narrative. So I've told this many times, this story, but basically I was in all of these Facebook groups with these online boss babes who had all quit their jobs and started businesses. And even to this day, in the content that I react to now, we see this talked about over and over again, this idea of like,
if you have a 9-to-5 job, that's so gross, like you're wasting your life. Why would you want to be the slave to someone else, help make someone else rich, etc., etc., etc.
Really discrediting the fact that there are lots of benefits to having a 9-to-5 job. For one, a stable income. For two, with most jobs, you can like turn it off and have a life outside your job when work is done. For three, there's stability and security that comes with having a job, the consistency of like knowing what to expect every day when you go to work. You can probably think of a ton of other benefits that you could drop in the comments, but This narrative of like,
oh, I'm just working as a slave for 40 years and then I don't get to enjoy my life.
like, that's not true. I have many friends that have 9-to-5 jobs that enjoy their life outside of work, but it gets like so twisted and dramatized. People are just so dramatic and making it sound like it's the worst possible thing when really it's not. I would love a paid vacation, let's be honest. It's 2018, people. Millions of entrepreneurs are out there living their best lives while I was sitting here wasting away in my cubicle. So dramatic. And so I made a decision. The only difference between myself and the people out there living the life I wanted was that I went for it. This is like classic privilege screaming at me. Like,
the only difference between people who have a dream life is that they just chose to have a dream life. Like, obviously, the people that are miserable in their 9-to-5 jobs or people that are struggling with poverty or other systematic issues, they chose that life, dumb idiots.
That's sarcasm, by the way. This is just, Danielle, your privilege is showing. And so here I am, ready to dive into this next endeavor, head and heart first. Oh my God, heart first. Danielle, what are you doing? If I fail, well, at least I don't have to live with the guilt of what if for never having gone for it. For now, I am all in, ready to design the life I have always dreamed about for the last 6 months. I mean, like I say in a lot of my content, some of the stuff here, like, I don't fully disagree with. I do think that if there's like something you want to do, maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, whatever, you should just do it. Give it a try and see. People might think it's cringe, and maybe what you are doing is cringe if you're like Danielle in this case. But I honestly still believe that there's nothing worse than like looking back, 5 years from now thinking like, oh, I wish I had started that sooner. Like this YouTube channel, for example. I've been consuming like anti-MLM, anti-scam content since probably 2019. And I waited like 4 years to start my channel because I was so afraid what other people would think. And I just think to myself now, like, oh, if I had started, 4 years ago, I would potentially be like much larger, have been doing this like full time, like that kind of thing. So there is credit to be given to the idea of like, if there's something you want to do, you should do it if you have the means to do so. But when it's wrapped up in this like toxic positivity perspective, that's when I'm just like, oh, Danielle, you're so out of touch. But alas, this is not the end of the post. It continues. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to up and quit their jobs to experience a dramatic shift in their lives. What I am saying is that the course of your life and the results you will achieve are entirely up to the decisions you are making, both consciously and unconsciously, each and every day. Wow, if that isn't insanely out of touch with how the real world works, I don't know what is. It appears to me as though Danielle of 2018 didn't realize that there are, as I was just saying, systematic issues, structures, and barriers that many people face that prevent them from being able to
live the lives they've always dreamed.
Like, did she think being poor was a choice? Or that being disabled was a choice? Like, Danielle, I've said it once, I will say it again, but your privilege is showing. This is so embarrassing. While I transition into this new and exciting and equally terrifying new phase of my journey, I want to help you in yours. Let's have the blind leading the blind. Whether it is finances, your career, your relationship, or even just your outlook, I want to help you get unstuck from whatever is holding you back from living your best life. What makes you qualified to be doing that? Nothing. You just decided now you're an expert in finance, careers, relationships, and people's outlook on life. Holy moly. Danielle, what are you doing? If you are craving some sort of change but can't seem to pinpoint what, where, or how to get there, and this resonates with you, hit me in the DMs and let's chat. Danielle, no one is going to contact you. I can promise you that. You don't even know what you're doing. What qualifies you to be teaching other people? It is your time to shine. The only person standing in your way is you. Obviously, there's no other issues as to why you aren't living the dream life. Those kids that you have and the bills you got to pay in order to feed them. That's not your problem. It's you. You're the problem. Like, what? I am here to guide you wherever you want to be. #AdultAF. For context, my podcast at that time was called Adulting 101. That's where that hashtag comes from. But oh my Lanta, that was horribly cringe, and I don't even want to look at what's next. Okay. So this next post, I'm not sure when this is from. I'm going to guess like 2018, 2019 probably. And here's what it says. The thing that is keeping you stuck in your 9 to 5 is your resistance to having more. More freedom, more money, more happiness, more success, more clients. It all comes with a lot of new and uncomfortable experiences. What you resist persists. Your ability to feel all of these new sensations is a gift in itself. Is it though? But if you're spending all your time and energy resisting these triggers and experiences, you are actually self-sabotaging, hiding, playing it small. I see it all the frickin' time. That's a lie. No, you don't. Clients, friends, peers playing small to stay safe, only to end up where they still don't want to be 6 months later. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but just know this. You are okay. It's okay to try something new. It's okay to take a risk. It's okay to do something people will see as silly. It's okay to make money doing what you love. What if no one wants to pay you for the thing that you love? Oh, feeling good about your life is okay. Are you ready to feel good? Because the only reason you don't feel good is because you've just simply chosen to feel bad. So, you big dumb idiot, stop feeling bad and start feeling good. Again, this post is just like tone deaf. And also, I probably wasn't even making money doing this at this point. Like, this is all just so fake. I can't. Okay, so the next few posts are from late 2018. And basically at that time, I was launching a group mindset coaching program for the new year. So it was supposed to start in 2019 and it was called Shift. And I was basically like teaching people how to shift into their new version of themselves. And I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, I took the format for this like group program that I was creating from my mentor at the time. Like she hosted a 6-week mastermind group program. And so I put together my own like 6 or 8 week program. So just for a little bit of context. And I haven't read these yet, but I'm going to assume they're a little gaslighty, so brace yourself. Let's take a minute here and talk about value, remembering that you yourself are a valuable living being. Remembering that you are worthy of investment. Here we go with the gaslighting about how the only way to be successful in life or in business is to hire a professional cheerleader, a mentor, that you pay money to make you feel good about yourself. Because you deserve to grow, to expand, and to step into the best possible version of yourself. How many free courses have you signed up for only to make it to module 1 or 2 and then jump ship and call it quits? That's likely because your commitment was not mirrored by an investment. You know, guys, the only way we ever get anything done in life is if we pay to have someone tell us how to do it. Committing yourself to learning new skills is necessary for you to up-level your life. And investing in yourself is one of the greatest forms of commitment. Unlike that new phone, those new shoes, that expensive meal, etc., investing in knowledge will actually provide long-term results. Okay, this is something I see a lot of these. I see it a lot in MLM. I see it a lot in coaching, in anything where people are trying to like convince you to buy into their program. I've actually seen it a lot in the MRR space as well, which by the way, I did a whole video on MRR right here that you can watch. But basically what they do is they create this like false equivalency where they're like, well, you spent $1,000 on your new iPhone, so why don't you spend $1,000 investing in yourself and create or join my program? And it's just like, girl, those are not the same thing. I buy my iPhone because in this society I need it. I don't need your group coaching. I don't know. I just find that icky. I also think as humans, like we find value in different things. Like me going to a nice meal with my partner. Maybe it costs us $200 to go out for like a fancy dinner to celebrate our anniversary. The experience and the pleasure that I'm getting out of that dinner isn't the same as me investing $200 in a mentor. Like I hate how they try to create connection between like things that are not the same. I say they, but I'm talking about me, but I know that I learned this from somebody else. The more you invest in yourself, the higher the return. The coach, the course, the retreat, whatever that looks like for you. Again, at this time, I was selling all of those things. I was a coach, I had a course, and I hosted retreats at that time. Or I think I was planning my first retreat at this time. It's time to commit fully to the life you deserve. You deserve to learn, explore, and expand into your highest self, to move into a world you didn't even know existed. How do I know this? I've done it. Courses, trainings, mentors. You are a valuable living being. This recognition starts with you. Do you want to change your life or not? Again, super gaslighty, basically being like, if you're miserable, that's your own fault. Are you going to do something about it? Because if not, shame on you. Like, I really just cringe so hard thinking about this because I'm like, Danielle, it's so mean to treat people like this, but in like a very passive aggressive way. Okay, moving on. So the next post, I think, is when I actually promote the program I was talking about earlier, but it starts in a very similar fashion. So you're afraid to invest in a coaching program. I get it. In fact, I remember it like it was yesterday. A year ago, coming across a mentor only to shy away because of the price tag. Before I finally invested, I remember spending so much time trying to DIY my way through my business. This is another tactic we see in like most coaching programs, specifically if you watch like a webinar, and we've watched a few here on this channel. But basically the format is they go through the webinar, they teach you like very basic skills. Then at the end of the webinar, they'll do like, let me paint 2 pictures for you. Picture number 1, you struggle and try to DIY your way through whatever thing you're facing, and you end up in a worse place, or it takes you 50 years, blah, blah, blah. Option number 2, pay me thousands of dollars and I'll give you the shortcut. That's essentially the same thing I'm doing here, but again, it's so common in like so many facets of marketing in the coaching space. Hours, days, weeks, months spent trying to figure out how to create a game plan, spinning my wheels, but never making any real progress. Let me just say for the record that despite what I was trying to convince myself here, paying my mentor $4,500, which I talked about in this video here, wasn't the thing that helped me build a successful business. I give her 0 credit in helping me to move forward. In fact, I probably would have moved forward faster if I DIY'd it myself. But of course, that narrative won't sell my program, so let me just lie about it and try and make people sound like this is the best opportunity they've seen. Let me break it down for you. In 5 weeks, you could have a clear vision of the life you desire. In 5 weeks, you could have the strategies for overcoming the mindset that is keeping you stuck where you are right now. In 5 weeks, you could develop the confidence you need to step out into the world as you were meant to be. In 5 weeks, you could have created lifelong relationships with other incredible women on a similar journey. So I guess this 5-week program literally was just me being your personal cheerleader for 5 weeks, because all of these outcomes are like not tangible things. It's just like,
feel more confident and know what you want in life.
Yeah, woo. Why would anyone pay for this? Or, and here we go, this is the comparison thing I was talking about. You could be in the same spot, still trying to navigate it all on your own.
Dumb idiot. Why are you doing that?
Investing is difficult because it takes you outside your comfort zone. But if your comfort zone is a place where you feel trapped, scared, or dissatisfied with your current reality, why would you want to stay there, loser? On the other side of your comfort zone is exactly where your new journey begins. Early bird pricing for Shift 2019 ends tonight at midnight. Follow the link in my bio for more details. And again, spoiler alert, nobody signed up for this program. Are we surprised? I thought it would be funny to react to a video. Basically, I used to go live on Facebook a lot back in the day, and I found a Facebook video from around the same time. So it was November 2018, and I was going live, you know, sharing these inspirational little bits and pieces, but using them as a means of promoting this group program that, again, no one signed up for. But I can see in the comments that I've like posted the link for the program along with some like journal prompts or something. So I figured it's a 10-minute video. We could watch it together and cringe together. I love that for us. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday's Facebook Live. Impromptu. Just decided to hop on here. To be honest, it came from a discussion or like an argument, I guess you could say, that I got into on Twitter the other day. I'm just gonna make sure the sound is working. To be honest, it came... Okay, we're good. I'm just sharing this on my personal Facebook. This is giving MLM Hun vibes where I'm like,
I'm live on my personal Facebook, and I'm live on my business Facebook, and I'm live on Instagram. And hey girl, hey.
Like, oh my God, I hate this so much. We're only 30 seconds in and I already ate it. But yeah, so basically I was on Twitter the other day, got into this argument with this gentleman, decided to just stop answering him because he was stuck in this like victim mentality of woe is me, life is so hard, nothing ever goes my way, yada, yada, yada. Danielle, maybe his life is hard. Have you ever considered that? Probably not. Thought came to me, why not hop on here, share my thoughts on this, because I feel like a lot of you could benefit from this. I want you to drop an emoji, say hello in the comments, maybe let me know if you're watching the replay. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So I want you to, for the record, there's 5 comments on this video. 4 of them are from me. 1 comment from someone that said replay. Nobody watched it live. Raise your hand, maybe put a little smiley face if you have ever felt as though the world was out to get you. Maybe you found yourself in this cycle where one thing after the other just keeps going wrong, it's going wrong, it's going wrong, nothing seems to be going your way. Or maybe you have this feeling that no matter how hard you try, no matter how much effort you put in, no matter how much you practice or prepare, things just don't seem to turn out right or work in your favor. So much lip smacking, I apologize. One big problem a lot of people have when they're in these situations is that they then slip into this hole where they think of themselves as the victim in absolutely everything and that they have little or no control at all over their lives. In this headspace, you feel sorry for yourself. So like I said, drop an emoji or something and let me know if you've ever felt this way. Danielle, no one is watching. There's no one to drop emojis. What are you doing? Where you're just stuck and you think the world is out to get you, and no matter what action you take, you get lost in this funk of self-pity and you're like, wah, my life sucks. Again, maybe their life really does suck. This is so like arrogant almost it's coming across of like, oh, you have problems in your life? Like, boo frickin' who? Ugh. When we find ourselves in these situations, we tend to stay stuck here, and there's 3 reasons that I've determined as to why this happens. First one being that we like the attention and we like the validation of being able to complain to our friends and our family that the life is so hard and things are out to get us, because then these people start to feel concerned for us. They start to actually care about our problems and it feels good. It gets those endorphins going. And so we stay in this victim mentality because although our reality doesn't feel good, the validation we're getting from people around us feels good. Wait, so is she saying, and I'm saying she because I don't identify with this person anymore. Is she saying that when we face like unfortunate circumstances, we're feeling kind of miserable, we seek endorphins through complaining about being miserable? Like, this is so out of touch with how reality works. I can't. Second, we like to maintain this victim mentality because we get to chill out when this happens. And what I mean by that is when you play the victim in your life, you literally don't have to do anything because your mentality is telling you, I'm just going to sit here and wallow in my pity party because no matter what I try, nothing works out anyway. So why bother even trying? Again, this is just a very toxic and out of touch perspective to have, to assume that everyone who is miserable or unhappy is just lazy. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around where I would have had to have been at, like, mentally to think like this and to think that this was okay, because this just seems so insensitive. And like, why didn't anyone cancel me, honestly? So we stay in this place because it feels good. We don't have to do anything, and the people around us actually care about us. Lastly, the reason we stay in this victim mentality is that we get to offboard the responsibility of our reality and the situation onto either the people or the circumstances that we're within. Because when the circumstances of your life were caused by someone else, or people or things around you, you get to feel like, well, I'm right. It's the world that sucks. Nothing's wrong with me. And so we stay in this victim mentality because we don't have to look at ourselves and point out our flaws because it's not our problem. It's the world's problem and those other people's problem as to why things aren't going our way. I kind of get where she's at here. I think that in certain circumstances, there is a responsibility on us as individuals to not just like play the victim and pretend that the world is out to get us. However, This does, again, not account for those circumstances in which it's beyond our control, like systematic barriers and social issues that prevent us from having control over our situation. While I don't entirely disagree in principle, I think the delivery here comes off as like very out of touch with how the real world works.
Hopefully this is making sense. If you're following along and this makes sense to you, just drop me a comment. Let me know that you are here and totally into it.
Also, like, why am I so out of breath this whole time? I'm like, and then we are going, like...
At the end of the day, we've all been there. I know I've been there, whether it was jobs that I got passed on or people I got rejected by, or maybe just opportunities I never had the chance to follow through with. Whatever it is, I sat there and I blamed everyone else around me. I blamed the hiring manager. I blamed the person who got hired. I blamed if it was a suitor that I was pursuing, well, then they're just stupid. And obviously I'm amazing, so why would they want to date me? Whatever it was, I was sitting there blaming everything around me. Why? Because that's the easiest way to do it. That's the easiest way, is to be the victim and blame everything around you. Why the heck would I point out my own flaws when I could just point out everyone else's instead?
I think this is just a clear example of like how indoctrinated you can become into the like toxic positivity sort of space. Like at this time in my life, I was reading like infinite numbers of self-help books. I was listening to self-help podcasts. All of this kind of like now I consider to be toxic content that really perpetuates this narrative. Like I learned this from someone else, and that's not me like not taking accountability. Obviously this is horrible and I don't know why I would publicly post something like this. But I can see how it would happen when all of the content that I was consuming at this time was also pushing a very similar narrative.
If you are nodding along as I'm saying this and you're feeling like, yeah, I've been there, maybe you're there right now, this is how you feel, I'm going to talk to you today about how to move from this mindset, from this place of being the victim, from this woe is me, my life is so hard, into a world where you're actually taking control for your actions, taking responsibility, holding yourself accountable, and really just stepping out of this victim mentality into the real world.
Because if you're a victim, you're living in fantasy land, loser.
Because, spoiler alert, you are actually in control of your reality.
Are you though? Are you though? I don't know about that, Danielle.
I said it. I said it right there. So I'm not going to explain any further. I'm just going to hop right into my 3 tips on how you can start taking control of your reality. First things first, you need to start taking responsibility, because the reality of the situation when things are not going your way is that hurt will not stop until you wake up and take responsibility for your life. There's no way around it. I can't sugarcoat that for you, honestly, and it's hard. I know this. I've been there, but I just want you to take a few steps back, take a few deep breaths, and just look at yourself. When you're in this position where something didn't work out the way you wanted, I want you to sort of remove yourself from the situation. Just take a moment and think, what have you done to get here? What results did you get? Obviously not great if you're playing the victim. And how can you behave differently next time? So actually reflect on what it is you've done and maybe why things didn't work out in your favor.
This idea that we are 100% in control of our reality and 100% in control of like everything that happens in our life seems so short-sighted and unrealistic.
Maybe it is something you've done. Maybe you can prepare more next time. Maybe you can, I don't know, show up on time. It depends on what the situation is.
Or maybe you don't have any control. Maybe you applied for a job and you interviewed and you did really well, but there was someone who was simply more qualified and better at interviewing than you. Like,
but I can promise you, you're going to feel so much better about yourself once you start to open up and recognize that your actions are actually creating your reality. Like, wow, I did something and it created result XYZ. Once you start to take responsibility for this fact, your mind is going to be blown. I'm just going to leave it at that. Next, you need to start to feel comfortable with the idea of not being the victim. And this can be hard because if you're someone who has played in this victim role for so long with every situation you've ever encountered in your whole life, it's obviously not going to feel natural to be like, nah, nope, it's actually my fault, not everyone else's. So once you start to take responsibility for your actions, expect to get uncomfortable, because who am I going to be if I'm not the victim anymore? That's probably a question you're going to ask yourself. You've spent so long narrating this story to yourself about how the world is out to get you. What are you supposed to do now that you don't have this excuse to fall back on? You're going to have to fill your life with a new way of thinking. And quite honestly, it might get a little bit uncomfortable, but girl, you got to get used to it.
I think I'm reading from a script. Based on how my eyes are moving and like the words that I'm using, I'm very confident that I'm reading from a script right now.
Eventually this feeling will fade, I promise you that. So it's just a matter of accepting that you are no longer the victim. You are in control of your reality and you are ready to do better next time.
So toxic.
Last and most important, the final tip I have for you to gain control back in your life is to turn your focus to the future. I talk about this a lot in most of my videos. And basically what I'm suggesting here is that you get to a point where you're like, okay, this is where I've made it to. I've made it this far, up to this point. I am no longer playing the victim. I know that my actions create my reality, and I am accepting the fact that I'm no longer the victim. I want you now to change the story, move forward, and start to write a new narrative. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like? I will drop this in the comments if this is something you want to work on after the video is done.
Nobody's watching this video. No one wants to work on this, I promise you.
What do I want my life to look like? What is your ideal situation? Whatever you're doing right now is obviously not working. That is why you're not getting the results you want. So where can you go from here? Where can I go from here? I can't tell you the answer. So these are questions you're going to have to ask yourself and see what comes up on your heart. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and just start writing the answers to these questions. What do I want my life to look like? Things up to this point haven't been working, so where can I go from here? And where do I want to go? Where do I want to go?
These questions mean nothing. Like even me looking at them now, if I'm like, okay, what do I want my life to look like? Okay, I could set a few goals, think of like things I want to accomplish. But like, where can I go from here? What does that even mean?
These 3 questions are going to provide you with that extra bit of clarity that you need in order to start to understand that you are fully in control of your life, like I've been saying.
But what if you're not? Again, it's like so ignorant and privileged for me to come on here and say like,
if you don't like your life, that's your fault. So take some accountability.
This is your life. You need to own it. You need to make a plan. You need to get excited. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the most important message I want you to take away from this video is that you get to decide that you are done with the BS of blaming everyone and everything around you for the fact that things are not going your way. Girl, you are done being the victim. You are powerful and you are ready to create a life you love.
Again, I can tell I'm reading from a script from like the intonation of my voice, but also like the words I'm saying. I don't talk like this.
And you are capable of doing that if you follow these steps. Be nice to yourself, pick yourself up, take control of your life. It's simple as that. If you want help in doing this,
here it comes.
I'm just going to plug that my group program, early bird pricing, expires tonight at midnight. So if you would like to join a group of incredible, capable women looking to change their lives, that opportunity is available. The program does not launch until January. However, I am offering a discount if you sign up by tonight at midnight. So if this is something that is of interest to you or you want to learn more, you can send me a message. We can chat there. You don't have to sign up right away. I just want to let you know that the offer is expiring at midnight. However, you can still register throughout December. It will just be a little bit more expensive.
The false sense of urgency. We love to see that. Also, when I comment on other people's videos, I never comment on their appearance, but because I am commenting on my own video, I think it's okay. I look like I just rolled out of bed. Like I know my face very well. So obviously when I started this video, even that you're watching right now, I looked tired because I wasn't wearing makeup. I get that. But I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just like, as someone now who since this has like built a successful business, been an entrepreneur, it's embarrassing for me to watch this and think like, Danielle, you look like you just rolled out of bed. Your hair is a mess. You have like a puffy face. It's very clear like you probably just woke up. And you think people are going to take you seriously and want to buy from you? I'm just so confused. Like, what was going on in my head at this time?
So that is all I have to say for today. I hope you all enjoy your weekend. Have the great rest of your Friday. What time do we got? About 3 o'clock.
Oh, it's 3 o'clock. So I didn't just wake up. I just look like I just woke up.
We will chat again soon. And like I said, as always, I'm just a message away. So if you have any questions at all, I would love to field those for you. Chat soon. And yeah, I'll just be here working.
Oh man. Okay, that was a doozy. Thanks for suffering through this all together. I'm gonna need to go shower to wash off all this cringe, but thank you for suffering with me. If this was enjoyable, honestly, I have so much more content like this that we could react to, and I'm happy to make myself the, what do they say, butt end of every joke? Whatever. Let me know if this was interesting. I want to hear your thoughts on how toxic this was. Am I just being harsh on myself, or is it worse than even I assumed? That's gonna be it for today's video. If you have content you want me to react to, I have a form linked in the description down below where you can submit that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up on your way out. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. That's okay too. I welcome any and all feedback. Take care, comb your hair. And if you thought you've heard the worst of it, you haven't. You should probably watch this video right here next. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.